there's a couple trends in this game that I think that maybe go unnoticed by some other groups. Main themes of the day for me: basics. Like the Detroit Lions lost this game. We could talk about all the decision making, and like, they have to talk about that. There's no the decision making. There's nothing you can argue about there. The Detroit Lions are who they are. They've been going through it. That's Dan Campbell's MO since he started talking about biting off kneecaps in his first press conference. That's the kind of guy Dan is. It's kind of players. It's kind of position coach he was. It's kind of when I was on his staff of the Miami Dolphins when he was the interim head coach. That's the kind of guy he is. That's who he's going to be. That's the culture and the makeup of their team. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You had the decision to not go for it down on fourth down. At the end of the half, they decided to kick the field goal. That's a decision. You don't argue with that decision. That's the decision they made. That's as conservative he's going to get. The one decision to run the football on third down towards the end of the game, and he had to waste a timeout. Again, that's a play that they've scored a ton of play. David Montgomery's in the game. They've been able to run the football. That's a play that they're pretty confident they're going to get into the end zone. They end up kind of blowing the down block. I think that was Reynolds who blew the down block on the safety. So they sneak through and make the play. They have to expend a timeout, which means if they don't get the onside kick, game's over. So that's a tough play. They end up scoring the next play, so it doesn't matter. But really, when you start thinking about this game, like, why did you lose this game? Let's just keep it as simple as possible. There's two reasons you lost this game. One, you dropped some passes. There was at least four I can recall. Two by Josh Reynolds, one in the end zone, a couple plays that would convert to first down, like third down drops. You obviously had the 2 fourth down plays where if they catch the ball, you look really good on the first one. The second one, Eric Armstead blows the play up with the TT game. Here's the thing that nobody's talking about. You missed 16 tackles in this game. So when I used to consult with teams about tackling, I remember I went to a team and literally we were watching it. It was an NFC South team. They're playing their opponent. Excuse me. And there was over 100 yards after contact in that game on missed tackles. Like, it makes a huge difference. You miss 16 tackles in a game. I'm going to show a handful of them, but you miss 16. Like Christian McCaffrey has, in the flat passes, running game, he probably has 50 yards of extra yardage after contact this week because Detroit just did such a poor job of tackling. Safeties missed at least 3 tackles each. And when you start looking at, like, we always talk about decisions and the game plan and the coach but you miss 16 tackles, you're going to lose a football game. It's not hard. The last thing is I think, Brock Purdy vaults to me, my opinion. Brock Purdy, 20 for 31, 267 yards. Obviously had the bad pick where it ends up getting hit, I think, by who was that? Well, pressure equals picks. We'll show it on the tape by the defensive tackle. But 20 for 31, 267 yards, touchdown and a pick. I think what he did with his feet in particular, 5 rushes, 48 yards, 21 yards, the long one, the 21-yarder to set up the last touchdown. You start looking at him and go, okay, first of all, how do we miss on the draft so badly? I read a draft. I had to go reread a draft report. I put some of it on the tape. But you just watch this guy and the way he maneuvers in the pocket. He outruns first-round draft pick Jack Campbell from Iowa, who's going to be a great linebacker in this league. Flat out outruns him on the 21-yarder. So I don't know where the information was coming from. I guess some guys don't test well, but like the tape couldn't have lied that much when he was playing. And he's got 47 starts, I think, at Iowa State or whatnot. So you start watching this thing and it just goes to show you what an imperfect science, or I should say, how many guys fall through the cracks. Maybe not imperfect science, but how many guys fall through the cracks when it comes to the draft process, the evaluation process. Obviously, if you can mentally process things, you play faster. But I thought his action out of the pocket, his ability to scramble, really separated him. When you look at him versus the top guys in the league now, it's impossible not to say that this guy is now becoming, certainly in the last 2 games versus the Packers versus the Lions, he's a reason they're winning the football game. And I don't know if a lot of guys, I don't know that you would say that.